We haven't been able to throw it effectively at all, so and I don't think it's just all the quarterback.
And here it is. Tagovailoa, a true freshman from Hawaii, gets the second half start. He keeps it. Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
You know, in this moment, I mean, it means the world. But at the same time, I mean, all glory goes to God. You know, I can't describe what He's done for me and my family. You know, who would have ever thought I would have been here? You know, right now, in this moment. So, you know, I thank God for that. And you know, I just like to thank my teammates and Coach Saban for giving me the opportunity.
Jalen Hurts. Jalen, you've just been shaking your head. You've had that smile on your face. Your reaction when you found out Tua was going to start the second half, honestly.
Sorry to interrupt this beautiful intro, but I just have to say, what an awful question to ask like a 20-year-old kid. Like, oh, I know you just got benched because you were playing poorly in the biggest game of your career, but please tell the millions of people watching how that made you feel. Like, seriously, bro, you needed to lead with that question. And I remember watching this live and being just shocked that he asked him that. But I absolutely loved Hurts' answer after this. I became a huge fan of him.
He was going to step in and do his thing. You know, we have a lot of guys in the QB room that play really well, and he stepped in and did his thing. Did his thing for the team. He's destined for stuff like this. He's built for stuff like this. He has the it factor, and I'm so happy for him, happy for this team.
What does it mean to you to be a national champion?
It's unbelievable. I dreamed about this.
Easily my least favorite misconception about scouting and talent eval is acting like the college that the prospect went to matters at all. And we've seen these stereotypes every year, especially with the quarterback position, where we're warned to never draft an Alabama quarterback or never draft an Ohio State quarterback. And it's really only rooted in the fact that there have been a couple busts that have come from that college. But each prospect is his own person. We can't just immediately write off a talented player just because of the school they're coming from. That's just lazy analysis. And unfortunately, this has happened far too often, and it's led to some unfair narratives being created about young quarterback prospects in recent years. But despite the doubters and the naysayers, two quarterbacks have played at such a high level that they are beginning to single-handedly end the stereotype once and for all. And those players are Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. Going into their third season, both these guys were entering a make-or-break year, more or less. Their front offices surrounded them with talent, and many people said that it wouldn't matter. They claimed that the pieces wouldn't change anything. These guys are never going to succeed regardless, and it was already set in their minds that Alabama quarterbacks just couldn't be successful in the NFL. And let's just say at this point, those people's analysis wasn't exactly true. But what are the important factors so far in the development of these two former Alabama teammates? Is it their supporting cast that's carrying them? Or has there been legitimate, tangible improvement for both these guys that has officially propelled them into that franchise quarterback tier? In this video, we're going to find out together, but in order to do that, first we have to go a little bit back in time. Everyone knows about Tua coming in for Hurts and winning a national championship. We all saw it, and it's something that will live forever in college football history. But not enough people know or remember that the following season, after Tua had permanently taken over the starting role, Jalen Hurts actually came into the SEC championship game after a Tua injury and saved Alabama's season. And I feel like this happens a lot to Jalen Hurts. It feels like too many of his accomplishments are forgotten or ignored. I'm sure everyone remembers that Tua finished second to Kyler in a tight Heisman race in 2018, but nobody remembers that Hurts also finished second in the Heisman race the very next year. In fact, Hurts' career at Oklahoma is this very underrated college season that way too many people overlooked. Tua, on the other hand, dealt with a different type of adversity. He was a media darling in college, and many NFL scouts were enamored by the lefty QB's ability to throw the football, with many thinking he was the guaranteed #1 overall pick. But late in the 2019 season, as we all know, Tua suffered a season-ending hip injury which prevented him from participating in the NFL Combine and put his draft stock at risk. Going into the 2020 draft, both Tua and Hurts had absolutely no clue when they were going to get drafted. But as it turns out, Tua was selected 5th overall by the Miami Dolphins, and Jalen Hurts was picked up in the 2nd round by the Philadelphia Eagles, and both these franchises would be changed forever. Out of the gate, the play was less than stellar for both QBs, and the narratives were arguably even worse, as many were saying the Dolphins should move on from Tua after one season, and there was also a lot of criticism for the Eagles blindly handing the keys to the franchise to a lowly second-round pick after the struggles of former second overall pick Carson Wentz. And it seemed like instead of giving these QBs time like many other young quarterbacks are afforded, the media and social media decided they were right all along. Alabama quarterbacks should never be drafted. But despite the noise and the struggles, these two franchises chose to stick on to these guys, not without any drama of course, but they stuck by them and built their teams into contenders. Howie Roseman drafted Devontae Smith in the top 10 and brought in A.J. Brown. And Chris Greer drafted speedster Jalen Waddle, hired a young offensive genius in Mike McDaniel, and traded and paid Tyreek Hill $30 million to play wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. So it was safe to say that this was a make or break year for Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, and with their back against the wall, their NFL careers on the line, they have fucking delivered. It started early in the preseason where we saw both guys look incredible, very efficient, which is exactly what you want to see from your starting quarterback. But the doubters were in no rush to change their tune based off of a couple preseason games. They were going to need to see a lot more to start believing. And so far, Tua and Hurts are combined 15-1, and both guys are in the top of the MVP race as it currently stands. Yes, unfortunately, there are still many that doubt these two young quarterbacks, and it's mostly because they don't understand them. And they don't understand them because they're different. They're not 6'5" prototypical QBs with prototypical strengths and traits. But that doesn't mean they aren't special. In fact, in my opinion, that makes them more special. Let me show you one of Tua's superpowers. He is the best RPO quarterback in the NFL. He's done a lot this season that's been very impressive, but his RPO ball handling and decision making is one of the most impressive things that you'll ever see. And even though the RPO has become an addition in almost every NFL offense nowadays, there's still lots of people that don't really respect it. Here's a play against the Lions. It's something Tua does constantly, and so many people brush it off. It's a simple RPO look, but it's something Tua and the Dolphins have absolutely mastered to the point that it's virtually unstoppable, and this is why. Tua has to make some incredibly quick decisions for this play to work. He has to be incredibly accurate. Here he locates the conflict defender and then has to immediately gauge where he can position the ball so it gets past the linebacker but still make it a catchable ball for Jalen Waddle. And his ball placement this season has been unreal. And it also shows how much chemistry Tua and Waddle have, because Waddle is ready for the ball to be placed behind him so it can get barely past the outstretched hands of the linebacker, and that right there is what we call keyhole accuracy. Here's another play against the Bears, and this one shows off Tua's elite eyes. On the surface, it seems like an easy throw, but there's a reason these middle-of-the-field plays have worked so well for the Miami Dolphins. Yes, the speed of Hill and Waddle help a ton, as well as Mike McDaniel's scheme, but Tua's eye manipulation is what makes it unstoppable. Watch him lock onto the linebacker and trick him with his eyes and body into sliding to his right. He then whips the ball right to the left of the linebacker without moving his eyes or body. He does this all the time. He makes these off-platform throws at full linebackers, and honestly, linebackers have to absolutely hate playing Tua in this offense. Aside from that, Tua's been going through progressions better than he ever has. Here on third down, he works outside, then short to Gesicki before hitting Waddle on the deep crosser with a perfectly accurate pass. And even in the biggest spots, with 20 seconds left on the road against the Ravens, he goes from 1 to 2 to 3 and all the way to his fourth option and delivers a strike for the game-winning TD. Every part of Tua's game has improved immensely, and he is 100% in the thick of the MVP race, and this is despite missing 3 games with a severe concussion. He's truly playing remarkable football right now, and I really hope people come around and appreciate what he's been doing and how much he has improved. Now, Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, has begun to already gain the appreciation of a lot of people around the league, and rightfully so. He's already one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the game and is one of the strongest quarterbacks I've ever seen. Similar to Miami, the Eagles are an elite RPO football team. But unlike Tua, Hurts is a massive threat to run. And on plays like this, I just don't know how you can stop it. It's almost impossible to account for all the weapons, let alone also accounting for Jalen Hurts' legs. And I'm pretty sure he's one of the only quarterbacks who can finish a run off like this. Just absolute elite power and strength. But a lot of people knew about Hurts' running ability, but what they may have questioned was his ability to throw the ball consistently. And that was fair criticism. Hurts did have some accuracy issues in college. He also struggled at times his first couple years in the league, but he has completely cleaned that up and has become one of the most accurate deep ball throwers the league has to offer. Here he unloads a ball from the far hash all the way to the other sideline and drops an absolute dime to Devontae Smith. And he's done this consistently all season. What really sticks with me personally with Hurts is how incredible he is within the structure of the offense, while also showing an innate ability to make plays off the script. That is a rare combination. Usually top QBs and young QBs, they'll have one or the other. They'll either do well on script or very well off script. Hurts can do both at a top tier level, and he truly is one of the most balanced quarterbacks that you can possibly find in the league. He is rightfully at the top of the MVP odds and is every bit the reason the Eagles have had so much success this season. The Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa breakout seasons have been some of the best stories of the year. Two guys, two teammates, both written off, both told they weren't good enough. And with their backs against the wall, they have shown the world that not only do they belong in the NFL, but they are among the best this league has to offer. And I think it's safe to say that they officially retired the negative stereotype about drafting Alabama quarterbacks.